let's go ahead and get started. This is recorded, so if anyone jumps on late, we'll make sure that they have their recording and they'll be good to go. Thank you for joining us. This is wonderful. It's great to have everyone. It's a wonderful Friday afternoon. It is here anyway, so hopefully it is where you guys all are at as well. My name is Taylor Warner. I am one of our U.S. market development managers. I work specifically with our central region. So shout out to the central region. If any of you are listening in, love you guys. Can't wait to start traveling again and meeting you guys out in person. We are excited for our call today, though. This is, like I mentioned, the first Zoom call that we've had for our future founders. So many of you are on this call because you have the goal and the intentions of becoming one of our next U.S. founders. I think that's wonderful, and we'd love to help you in any way we can to accomplish that goal. Up to this point, we've talked a lot about why you should do this. A lot of the encouragement and motivation. Today, what we want to do is we really want to spend some time getting into the strategy, talking about how you can do this, which hopefully can be a big boost to you and your team. Joining me on this call, however, is a couple of wonderful account managers. We have Hayden Lane and Michael Stirling. For any of you who work with our account management team, you guys know that they are truly lifesavers. So I am totally just blown away that they would come here and help us today and be willing to just spend 30 minutes with us to just answer questions. They are so knowledgeable about this program, and this is what they do all the time. They talk with people about how they can become one of the next U.S. founders. And so we're grateful to have them join us on the call today. As we get started, I do just want to point out several resources that you have, just to make sure that you are aware of these resources. First is the Founders Club dashboard. And I'm just going to include a link to this in the chat, just so that you can reference it whenever you need to. But our U.S. Founders Club 2.0 dashboard is a place where you can check your status. And I'm putting that in the chat right now. So it's a place that you can check your status, check your points, see where your points are coming from. This is a place that you should reference regularly. You should at least be checking this probably once a week to see any updated points and see where you're at and what you need to do to get to your 1,000 points. And the next link that I'm going to include in here is just the link to our US Founder 2.0 pages on doTERRA.com. This includes a fact sheet. It includes ways that you can earn points, and it includes just a lot of information about the program in general. So hopefully that can be a good resource for you and your team if you have not seen that yet. I'm hoping many of you have, but just in case you haven't, we're covering our bases. And the last resource that I want to include is the contact information for our wonderful account management team and our business advancement teams. And so you can find their information by going to that website posted in the chat. Please utilize our account managers and our business advancement team to help you come up with a game plan and to strategize what exactly you need to do to be the next U.S. founder. I want to give a brief overview of the program, just in case this is your first time joining us, or if this is your first time hearing about the Founders Club program. This was something that was announced at our leadership retreat back in May, and so it's been a number of months now. But the phrase that I love to use that was used to describe this program is it's intended to help us identify who our next generation of leaders are. We're trying to find our next leaders who are going to help the U.S. market grow from currently 1 billion in sales to 2 billion and beyond. And so this program, the purpose is to help us find leaders. And you're here. I think if you're on this call right now, you're one of our leaders. You're showing that you're putting the time and effort into this doTERRA business. And so we commend you for that. With that said, we have some wonderful questions that we'd love to ask Michael and Hayden just to help us understand the program a little bit more and get into a little bit more of the strategy of how you guys can be one of our next US founders. So to get started, we're going to kick it off by asking Michael Stirling a couple of questions. Michael, are you there with us and you ready?
Yeah, Taylor, can you hear me?
All righty, we can hear you loud and clear. Thank you very much for joining us.
No worries. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So Michael, first question. We've talked a lot about why you should be a founder, but from your perspective, why exactly should I push to be a US founder? What's in it for me?
That's a great question. I mean, first of all, I want to start with making sure that everyone understands what a founder is. The founders are the people that help to establish a market and get it started. So Founders 2.0 is a really unique opportunity because it's for this, like you said, second generation of leaders. It's to help identify those people and to build those people. So if you're working toward Founders 2.0, you are one of those people and you're helping us to find others that are in that category as well. Because we all want to work together to get more essential oils into more hands here in the United States. But apart from all of the appreciation, recognition, and esteem that founders get, I would say a really huge part of it is their bonus. The founder commission bonus that they get each year is a huge opportunity for everyone. And the really neat part about Founders 2.0 is that there are 200 spots. In many other founders clubs, there are 20, 25 positions. This Founders Club has 200 positions. So there is a lot of opportunity out there for people. You have to reach your 1,000 points and hit your minimums if you want to become a Founder 2.0. But once you do, the bonus that you receive is equal to 1 share in a 2% pool of all US volume between $1 and $2 billion in net sales. These shares will be paid off of commissionable volume. I'm not going to do the math for you, but just think about it. It's up to 1 billion that is split, that 2% of 1 billion split between 200 people. That is an exciting prospect. So I think anyone that is interested in sharing doTERRA and building doTERRA, they should be trying to become a founder.
I think that's awesome. Thank you, Michael. That's a wonderful answer. And yeah, we'll definitely leave the math to you, but it's definitely a significant amount. And so that's exciting. I'll follow it up with another question, Michael. I mentioned that this was announced at Leadership Retreat. And so it's been a number of months now. If I'm just getting started now, have I missed my window of opportunity? Am I too late to get started?
No, you are definitely not. And this is, I'm not just saying that. Currently, of the 200 positions, we have 1 that has been filled so far. Yes, there are people who are building and getting more and more points all the time, but we see that really people from all walks of doTERRA are joining in this competition and in this program. And what you need to do is you need to sit down and map out a plan for how you're going to reach your 1,000 points. Now, I want to, on this point, a lot of people have been asking, and I want to make sure it's clear, why are we using this point system? There are lots of different ways that we could have done it, but why did doTERRA choose this point system? You've all gone through it. There are many different parts that are involved. I want to share with you 2 main reasons why we chose that. The first one is that we wanted to make sure that this was going to be a level playing field. We want it to be that people who have been with doTERRA for a long time and people who are just starting with doTERRA have an equal opportunity to become a US Founder 2.0. And that's what all of these different categories and minimums and maximums, that's what that does for us, is it helps to level the playing field so that even if you are an elite right now, and let's say that someone else is a presidential and you're both going for it, you both have that level chance to become a founder. And I love that about this program. The second part that to me is actually more important even than that equality is that the way that the categories of these points have been created, it's been done in such a way that it gives you a roadmap to success. And this, I think this is really exciting. If you are trying to get to your 1,000 points and you're mapping out, okay, which categories do I need how many points in? What do I need to do to get there? If you try to head toward founders, not only will it help you get there, but it's also going to help your team to be more healthy. It's going to help that growth to be more sustainable. Because in creating this point system, it went all the way to the top of doTERRA. And a lot of minds went into discovering what was going to work the best. So I'm excited just that this point system is a roadmap. And I hope that people will use it not just for this program, but in general, because it will help you to build sustainably and strongly.
Awesome. I love that, Michael. Yeah, and it makes sense because for most of you, you're already building this way, right? The way that you earn points, you're already doing this a lot of times. You're enrolling people, you're getting them on LRP, you're trying to rank advance and help other people rank advance. So it's a wonderful roadmap, and I love that you mentioned that, Michael. All right, Hayden, we're going to kick it off to you and ask you a question. Let's do a quick mic check. You coming in?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Awesome. We can hear you. All right, Hayden.
Cool.
Here we go. Question for Hayden. Michael talked about there's many different ways to earn points, and it's a big roadmap. So what in your experience, what would be the best way to earn points in this program, or the best thing to focus on?
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually get asked that quite a bit. And the way to really push yourself in this program is to get your personal enrollments rank advancing, and for yourself to rank advance. The bulk of your points are going to come from that. Your new enrollments, getting them on LRP, helping people at Power of 3, 250, those are great tools and you get points for those, but you need to utilize those to fuel your team in rank advancements. And that's where you're going to get the bulk of your points. And so yeah, developing your team and your qualifiers, having those business opportunity questions with new enrollments, you can help them see the vision with building this business, because that's what's going to get you to your 1,000 points.
Awesome. Okay, so if I'm understanding you correctly, we don't want to be too fixated on one thing, but if we were to focus maybe a little bit more on one area, it would be on rank advancements. Is that right?
Right. Okay. Your team and then your own personal rank advancements, which often are just going hand in hand.
Perfect. I love it. Awesome. Okay, let's jump back over to Michael. Michael, there are, and you actually mentioned this a little bit already, minimums. So what are the minimum requirements? What are the base things I need in order to be a founder?
Awesome. Thank you, Taylor, for asking that question, because I did want to dive into this a little bit more. So you know that you have to get 1,000 points, but you have to remember that in 4 of the categories, there are minimums assigned there. So if you don't get the minimums in those categories, you could potentially get to 1,000 points and not be a founder. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you, on your own personal rank advancements, you get to 1,000 points, but in the process, you didn't help anyone get the Power of 3. You didn't help anyone get the empowerment bonus. If you do that, which would be hard to do, but if you did that, then you wouldn't be a founder. Now, what's the reason for that? I just want to remind you guys, this is all about building and helping others succeed. That's why you have so much focus with your points on personally enrolled rank advancements. That's the highest minimum that you have to hit, 300 points from personally enrolled rank advancements. That's because as you help other people succeed, you will naturally succeed. And that's what we want to just push over and over with you, is pick those people who you have enrollment of that want and are willing to work with you and help them get to the next level. And then the other pieces will all fall into place for you. Now, just to really quickly go through those minimums. So we said 300 for personally enrolled rank advancements. You need to have 9 points from helping someone get the 250 Power of 3. You need to have 50 points from personal enrollments and LRP. So you have to be doing those income producing activities and showing your team a good example. And then you have to be helping some people get the empowerment bonus. 3 points are required from there. So those are minimums in the categories, but there are also a couple other minimum things that you need to reach that are important. One is hitting gold with 90% US volume. So once you get to your 1,000 points, in order to maintain the founder position that you earned, you need to be able to maintain a gold rank with 90% US volume. So what does that mean? Let me give you an example. Let's say that you focus on a lot of your personal enrollments who are all in one leg, and you're working with them to help them to be able to rank advance, and you're getting points from their rank advancement and yours. But you need to make sure that you have 3 premier legs with US volume 90%, so that you have that gold ready to go when you get your 1,000 points, so you can maintain that founder position. So sorry, Taylor, I'm going to a little bit more. I want to make sure people understand this 90%.
Okay, you're okay.
But, the 90%, what does that mean? That focuses in on the building block ranks of doTERRA. So executive and elite are those building blocks. We know executives build premiers, who build golds, who build blue diamonds. And elites build silvers, who build platinums, diamonds, and presidentials. So the 2 ranks that are important if you're focusing on 90% is executive and elite, meaning that you have to have 1,800 of the 2,000 for executive that's coming from the US, and 2,700 from the 3,000 of an elite that's coming from the US. Now, for those of you who only have US teams, you don't even have to worry about this. Just keep building and sharing here in the US. This only applies to people who have teams and legs that are outside of the US. And if that's the case, I would recommend that you work closely with your account manager so that you know where you're at when it comes to that. Thanks, Taylor.
Awesome, Michael. That was a great answer. And I love that you mentioned too. One thing that I just want to repeat is with these minimums, although it's possible to get to the 1,000 points and not have met these minimums, it is unlikely, right? If you're building the right way, hopefully you should have people who reach their power of 3, 250. You hopefully have people that are getting their empowerment bonus. So although it's unlikely, it is possible. So just a reminder to keep an eye on it and be aware of those minimums. And Michael, thank you for reminding us of those. Okay, next question. Let's go ahead and turn it back over to Hayden. Hayden, this is a question that I've been asked multiple times. And so I know that you've been asked multiple times as an account manager. So it's in regard to combining orders. So the question would be, if my enrollee placed less than 100 PV enrollment order, do I miss out on the point completely, or is there any chance I can still salvage that point?
So as far as the enrollment point, if they did less than 100, you would miss out on it, but enrollment PV does combine. So if you do another order in that month, in the enrollment month, to make up to 100, that will combine with their original enrollment order to get you back that point. So that's something to keep an eye on. If you have someone enroll with anything less than 100, you can still try and get that point by getting another order in with them.
Wonderful, wonderful. Would that same concept apply in months 2 and 3 once we get them on the LRP order as well?
It would, yes. LRP orders do combine in that same month as 2. So
awesome, awesome, great reminder. Thank you. Okay, Hayden, we're gonna keep it with you. There's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of ways to earn points within this program. What should I do if I think that there's a points discrepancy? What are my options if I think that my points are miscalculated?
So always check your dashboard, because that's going to be the most updated we have as far as your points go, is your dashboard, and it keeps track of it really well. I know a lot of people still keep track of it on their own using their own forms or a point calculator, which is great. But if you're not seeing your points add up from what we have total plus or with your points calculator, check your dashboard. It breaks down everything. And then if you're still seeing a discrepancy from there, we have a point adjustment form that your account manager or the business advancement team can send you. It's just an online survey that you would fill out, and then we can internally review that and see what happened, if there was an issue with it, or if there's something that we need to fix, or if there's just an issue with how it was calculated.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, Hayden, I got one more question coming your way, actually. So we've talked a little bit about strategy, about minimums, about different things that we can do. If I am just getting started now, or even if I've been doing this for a while, what would be your suggestion as far as some things that I could do right now, some things I can do today to give myself the best chances having success in this program?
Oh, so number one thing is you just have to commit to this. It's a marathon. It's what we said from the beginning. So for the next 12 to 24 months, you just have to commit yourself to building your business, this organization, or your organization, and create that plan too. So talk to your team, talk to your qualifiers, make sure they're on the same page as you with where you want to go. Because if they're not, that's going to make it a lot difficult for you to get there. And then we have, like Taylor said at the beginning, so many resources to utilize. You have your account manager, the business advancement team, and we actually just released this new business building guide. It just became available online. I'm going to show you what it looks like, but it's a great tool to use when you're building. So you can find the digital copy, it's free online, or you can purchase it, the hard copy, and it's a great plan to really get yourself ready and in a position to build and get a founder's position.
Great. Hayden, those were wonderful suggestions and tips. I think committing to it, that's huge, right? You just have to want it. You have to commit to it now. We can't be, sitting on the fence. We're either in or we're not with this program. And really, you're not going to lose anything by just going for it with 2 feet, jumping in. And so I encourage you guys to continue to do that. I know if you're on this call, I'm already preaching to the choir, right? You guys are all already both feet in, going for this. So with that said, though, that concludes the questions that we have prepared. I did see a couple wonderful questions on the chat that I'd like to address. And so Michael or Hayden, whichever one of you would like to tackle this one, we have a wonderful question. Do we have any tips on how we can get your team on board? And so if I feel like I'm really bought into this, I'm going for it, it might be hard to do by myself. How can I get my team to buy into this vision as well?
Do you mind if I take that one?
Go for it, Michael.
I think that's a great question. And honestly, I've had lots of leaders that will ask this question, and not just about this program, but in building doTERRA in general. And I think a really important thing that you need to remember is that sometimes their why is different than your why. And their goal is different from your goal. So it doesn't always work to try to put your goal on other people. And so if you're having trouble with people getting excited about a goal that you're putting out there, then I would start at a grassroots level. Go down to them and find out one by one, what is it that you want from doTERRA? What do you want to achieve? And a lot of times you'll find that what they want does line up with what you're trying to accomplish as well, but they don't see it from your angle. So if you're able to go and approach them separately and find out what they want from it and then show them how that lines up with your goal, you'll see massive buy-in.
I like that. Another thing that I love using is getting people to their next step in their doTERRA journey. Everyone is on a different path. We're all at different points along our doTERRA journey. Let's be very specific and personable with each individual, and let's just do the next thing to help them get to that next step in their doTERRA journey. It might not be a lot compared to what you're doing right now, but let's just help them make the improvements that they need to make, and they'll get there. So I think that was a wonderful question. Thank you for asking that. Another great question, and Hayden, maybe you know this one because it kind of goes in line with what we were talking about with combining the orders. But could someone get LRP points in months 2 and 3 if their initial enrollment order was not 100 PV? And so they missed out, they didn't get any points in month 1, but could they still get points in month 2 and 3, or is it automatically forfeited?
Good question. Michael, you might need to fact check me on this one, but they don't get points if they miss out on the enrollment, but if they don't do an LRP in their first month after they do 100 PV enrollment, you can still get points for month 2. But yeah, they don't get points for LRP if they don't do 100 PV enrollment order.
Awesome. So the first month, that initial enrollment, that's the big one because you can get a maximum of 3. But if you don't even get that initial first point, you're not going to get points in months 2 or 3. So awesome. That's a great clarifying question. I'm just scrolling through the chat. If you guys have additional questions, feel free to put it in the chat. We probably have time for 2 more questions. let's see, I'm scrolling through. Let's see. Is there a link to the digital copy of the business building guide? Do we have a digital link to that yet? I believe we should.
We do. Yeah, it's
Okay.
available in the Empowered Success section of our website. So I'll go grab that link right now and throw that in the chat.
Perfect. Perfect. Danny, great question. What's the timeline until 200 are locked in? Michael, do you want to answer that while Hayden's pulling up that link for us?
Great question. So what are we looking at timeline wise? It's really hard to know. Like I said before, we have one who's qualified so far. They said at launching the program that it was going to take between 12 and 24 months. So when we get to May of this next year, that'll have been 12 months. So we're about halfway into that. Like I said, it's hard to know because people could start now. Like someone could enroll today and they could still become a founder. It just depends on how hard they want to work and how fast they want to go. So if we're looking at the pace that we're at right now, I don't see it filling up earlier than like the 2021, but you never know, right? It's if a bunch of people decide to just really hit it hard, then it could fill up by the summer of next year. I mean, that probably won't happen, but I just want you to be clear that we don't know for sure. I don't want to set an expectation that might not be totally accurate. I hope that helps a little. I know it was there's a lot of moving pieces.
There's a lot of uncertainty though, and that's the truth of the matter is we honestly don't know, and so that's a great question. But yeah, our initial estimation was 18 months, and so this was kicked off back in May, and so that would put us around this same time in 2021, and so that's our best guess as of right now. And so the best thing that you can do is just control what you can control. Continue to build, continue to work, and don't worry about the extra noise and what everyone else is doing. Just control what you can control, and you'll see success. So I think that concludes the time that we have. I do see 1, 2 more questions real quick. I'll just answer these really quickly. As far as point range and generalizations, we haven't talked a lot about that yet. You might see some more generalization point ranges in the future, but we can't necessarily promise that. But it is something that's been talked about. And then when do the commission payouts begin? Michael, would you like to answer that one as well? Because that's going to be at the beginning of this next year if you hit this year.
Totally. Yep. So people who hit by the end of 2020, they will be paid out on that on their first share the beginning of this next year. So probably in January. And so if you hit in 2021, then you'll be paid out for the first time in the beginning of 2022.
Yep. So just at the beginning of each year. Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. This was our first Future Founder Zoom call. Please look forward to these. We do plan to do these, I believe, once a month. And so we look forward to you joining us in the future. Please reach out to us if you have suggestions or topics or things that you would like to discuss on these calls to make it the most beneficial. Please reach out and let us know, and we can definitely plan accordingly. But thank you so much for joining us. We hope you all have a great rest of your Friday and have a wonderful weekend. Have a good one. See you guys.
Thanks, Taylor.